Water was supposed to sit to conclude its petition. They were away on an official business at Kalau. They can explain why tomorrow. So why do you require more time within 60 days to explain to a simple matter?
Honorable Speaker.
And you had a week. You
Yes.
had a week at the coastline for 7 days discussing workload, responses, petitions. That is what your chair told me. Has that changed?
Honorable Speaker, as the committee was sitting, we had some responses which were not ready from the ECM, and we had to compile them. And Mr. Speaker, as a committee, we don't want to bring a report which is half-baked in this house. That's why we are asking for more time so that we can present our report on Wednesday at 2:30 p.m.
The due date is today. And the citizens of Mulala Sub-Ward?
Information is not gotten from the ECM and their CEOs. So, as a committee, our hands are tied. That's why we are not able to bring the report today. But we are seeking for more time so that we can bring it on Wednesday at 2:30 p.m.
Chairperson, if you produce evidence that for the last 60 days you have been writing a letter to the executive and the executive has not responded because we properly gave you 60 days to give us a response, I will agree with you. Because you had 60 days to deal with that matter. And after the 60th day, the Speaker has a responsibility to convey and the Assembly.
Honorable Speaker, you can give me permission to walk out and consult from our committee clerk. But I understand that the clerk has just received the report, and that's why I was saying that we would sit tomorrow during our committee sittings and deliberate on the report and then bring it in this house on Wednesday at 2:30 p.m.
So you fall in the same category as the Committee on Gender? Where
Yes,
something must be done?
Yes,
the chair selection and the leader of the majority should look between.
Yes, Honorable
Between
Speaker.
the ECM and the committee where the problem is.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, you're members of budget. No, leader of majority.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
Hold on, Honorable Marina. Leader of the majority, you can't assume two positions. So at times when you are members of budget committee and your leadership, choose what you want to be that day. So you can't speak on behalf of government and you want to be a member of committee on budget. Yes, unless then you get someone else to take the tea. So,
Mr. Speaker, I've a special request, because this is the first matter whereby we've been caught up by time. I seek your pardon so that we can sit as a committee and see where the problem is, because I can see that the leader of the government business is disputing, and I can defend myself by saying that I have been away for a long time during my sick leave, and some things were happening when I was not around, and given that I'm the vice chair budget, I have to stand and also defend the committee. So I'm seeking for your pardon this time round, and as a committee, we shall sit down and also put our house in order. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, tomorrow we have two sittings, and I can assure you that on Wednesday we'll be through with that business. I'm a member of the Budget Committee, and we are committed, as my Vice Chair said. So, Mr. Speaker, just allow us, give us the benefit of doubt, and we'll sort out. We are ever punctual, and we are ever very much efficient with the business of the House, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Zbani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am also a member of that committee, Budget and Appropriation. Mr. Speaker, the House, considering that we have had supplementary budget which of course took toll of the time that we are supposed to deal with this petition. And Mr. Speaker, we've done everything. Everything, every paper has been comped out. We've met the petitioners, and all what is remaining is adoption of that report that will happen tomorrow in our sitting time. And probably, Mr. Speaker, if it could even be scheduled tomorrow in the afternoon, even the committee can be ready. However, we have requested for it to appear in the order paper on Wednesday. Thank you.
Do so, Chair. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order. What is the point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand on a point of order, number 43, that, Mr. Speaker, I be allowed to lay a paper on the table of the Assembly today at this time, Mr. Speaker, 2:30, in addition on a paper that I laid on 22nd on Wednesday in the afternoon, Mr. Speaker.
Is it that you laid a paper? Papers are laid by the leader of the majority.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, but I noticed that in the order paper, you are just about to jump to the next order, and then I have a paper.
But under the order paper, the leader of the majority has no business to lay.
Yeah, that's why I'm standing on a point of order, Mr. Speaker, on that particular area of papers. Unless I'm guided by you, Mr. Speaker, I have a letter here that I want to be annexed in my fact.
Oh,
I stand advised.
It's either evidence or document or whatever. You know, when you raise, you didn't differentiate whether you are standing as member for Tulimani Ward or as a leader of the majority.
Yes, Tulimani Ward.
The leader of the majority lays paper.
Yes.
And when he's not laying papers, he's not where he is.
Okay.
But,
this is.
so you should have said it has nothing to do with that. You are laying as a requester of a previous statement on ABCD.
Indeed, and Mr. Speaker, I never stood as a leader of government.
Are you laying or you're
business.
tabling?
I want to table.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to table. Mr. Speaker.
What is it?
It is a letter concerning the Public Service Board, Mr. Speaker. Just to be in the annexure, is a letter that came after I had tabled it. It was an advisory leave of absence, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is also an evidence of the wrongdoings in the County Public Service Board. And this letter was written in 16th December 2020. Mr. Speaker, if you allow, I may just read for members to also get to know what I'm talking about. It was written, the County Secretary and Head of County Public Service, Government of Makueni, dear sir, advisory leave of absence. The County Public Service Board is established under Section 57 of the County Governments Act 2012 and is mandated, its mandate is derived from Section 59 of the said Act. One of its mandates is provided under Section 59(1)(e) of the County Governments Act 2012 is to facilitate the development of the coherent, integrated human resource planning and budgeting for personnel and emoluments in the county and government on human resource management and department. The board is in receipt of requests for renewal of leave of absence from chief officers whose contracts have been extended for a further period of 15 months, as per your letter dated 15th December 2020 under reference under GOM/CPSB 13 volume 78. Similarly, the board is also in receipt of requests from officers who wish to refer to the position they held before they were appointed as chief officers in the year 2017. In pursuit by the board to provide the appropriate advice on the issue at hand, we have pursued the human resource policies and procedures manual for the county public, and we regret that the issue has not been addressed. The purpose of this letter is therefore to advise the officers through your office that leave of absence cannot be granted to officers to serve in the same government institution. The affected officers are hereby advised to make individual decision to release either position for competitive filing. Thank you for your cooperation. Yours faithful, Acting Chief Executive Officer, Evelyn M. Nzove. I thank you and I wish to table. December 2020. So the Committee on Devolution will be able to, in addition with whatever I had, get more information about this. I thank you.
Let me see that. Member for Limani, there is this letter is addressed to the County Secretary and the Head of Public Service, dated 16th of December year 2020, signed by MS Zuve, the AG Chief Executive Officer of the Public Service Board. But what either the committee or yourself, you need first to find out is whether this letter is received by the person to whom it is addressed, because it doesn't bear any mark that it has been received. So for it to be admissible, certificate, or the receiver or the office that received this letter also to authenticate. That way someone has to own it for it to be admissible for consideration. So when can you get this done? Before then, what is it, Member Fanzamani? Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And thank you, Mr. Speaker, for having seen that error in that letter. Mr. Speaker, I would also wish to request the Leader of Majority, as he pursues that issue of absence of leave, Mr. Speaker, to check on 38, Section 38 of the Public Service Commission.
Order. I didn't point an error. I didn't qualify the letter, neither disqualify.
Exactly, Mr. Speaker.
I didn't make a ruling on it.
Mr. Speaker,
I said that both the author of the letter or the receiver of the letter that must own the letter.
Exactly.
So that if it has been sent to the County Secretary, the Head of Public Service Board, for action and is advisory, then the committee may also want to know, was it received and then what happened?
Exactly.
Or whether it was delivered.
Mr. Speaker, that is exactly what I meant, because, Mr. Speaker, having assumed that you had administered it the way it is, then Mr. Speaker would have, as ours, accepted an error, because, of course, we know it has to be owned by either the owner of the letter or whoever was receiving. Mr. Speaker, I also wanted to raise to the issue, to the House, Mr. Speaker, as far as we proceed on that issue of absence of leave, I refer them to check on Section 38 of the Public Service Commission, Mr. Speaker, because it allows for the absence of leave, it allows for extension, Mr. Speaker, and the time is elaborated there. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, as far as that letter is concerned, I would implore the committee before they read the report to check on that Section 38. Thank you.
Member for Tulmana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I promised here that any other extra information that I will get in concerning this case, I will bring it to the House for the committee to make a follow-up, investigate, look into, Mr. Speaker, and if it is not authentic, Mr. Speaker, then, because mine is to help assist the committee to get more information. So Mr. Speaker, I want to inform my colleague that while he was away, I laid some documents here, which were very many. And Mr. Speaker, it is important that you don't just jump into a soup. It may be very hot, Mr. Speaker, without knowing what is ahead, Mr. Speaker, of this. So, Mr. Speaker, I will assist the committee, Mr. Speaker, on also getting that letter, Mr. Speaker, as you have directed, as early as tomorrow, 2:30.
Honorable Elizabeth.
Honorable Speaker, mine will be a procedural question. Yes, we understand the duty that the majority leader on this matter, the member for Tulimani, was given to bring extra evidence. But my question would be, last week when he laid the supplementary questions, it came under statements. Today, he has rose under papers. So mine will just be a matter of procedure. Should it come under papers or under statements?
On the same, touching on the matter raised by Honorable Mudhige. Don't belabor so much, just a minute. Honorable Mudhige, technically, the next order statement had been read. Technically, but I get what you're talking about, that he rose under papers. But that's why I had to ask him whether he's laying a paper as a leader of the majority member for Tulimani. So when he clarified that it's member Tulimani, then I would have told him that we have skipped that order paper. But then I realized he's already in the order paper that I've read. That's why I allowed him to. We may not have expressly. But strictly speaking, it ought to have been understatement when the statement was raised. Further to that, honorable members, the speaker may have, and the type office may have admitted this document as it is, which means it will be up to the committee to determine that time whether the document that was laid was valid, admissible or not. That's the point. So they may opt to reject it on the basis that. So it is fair that you are the bearer of that information and therefore it is your duty and responsibility to authenticate or get the document to be owned. Once it leaves you, then you may not have an opportunity to file a supplementary document on the same. It is on that basis I've asked you that to ensure before the paper is laid, then it is either received or it is owned by the author. Yes. Member for Zabani, you want?
Speaker, Mr. Speaker, still on procedural. I don't know, but you can guide. I thought, as per our standing orders, that once I lay a paper, and now it becomes a document of the assembly and it is for a committee. If I have additional information, Mr. Speaker, the procedure does not allow me to come and table it before the House. Rather, Mr. Speaker, I'm supposed to take it to the committee directly. Therefore, maybe you can guide on that, because once you table, then that's it. If you have additional information, you are invited to the committee and present any other extra information that you could be having now inclusive of this one. So leader of majority ought to have, gone to the committee and present his additional information. Thank you.
You see, Member Fanzabani Vingoni, you are right. However, when the member of parliament laid a volume of documents and he said he would want to table information related to the statement in question, then that information was deemed to be public to that extent. What has happened is he had two avenues in presenting this information, either to take it directly to the committee, which then becomes an information to be processed by the committee. But again, he chose under statements to lay a paper, not to lay a paper, to table a document in relation to subject matter that is before a committee. To the extent that the committee has not closed the matter, then it's a different matter. Should this paper find that the committee has adopted the report, then the committee may argue that we are already outside the interrogation and will not consider it. So it's up to him to provide information as early as possible. If it is out of time, then the committee will present a report because he had the time to do so. So a decision will be made. But there's nothing wrong with tabling an information that you think is important for the information of the assembly, for public information, for consideration on an inquiry, or any other form of information. I hope you're properly guided. But you are right, he could have still gotten it to the committee directly. So it depends on which avenue one chooses. Chairperson, Committee on Culture, Gender, Disability, Youth and Community Development, to respond to a statement number 37 of the year 2023, as requested by, it was read. Papers was read. And we went at, are there notices? You read statements? Just a minute. Then you prove Honorable Mudiga right. Thank you, my vigilant member of the panel. You would have, you are the only one around. Oh, okay. The rest are around. Now, indeed, Honorable Mudhika, you are right. The leader of the majority, member, you should have raised that matter under statements. Under statement, not under papers. And therefore, next time you do so as guided by a member of the panel, very, very keen to guide this house, not to misguide, for the right business, not any business. Yes. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Chairperson, Committee on Culture, Gender, Disability, Youth and Community Development. Is that the name of your committee? Is it Community Development or Community Services? Social Services? There's a confusion. Let me read the right name. Chairperson, Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services. Respond to statement number 37 of 2023 as requested by Honorable Elizabeth Muthike on Ligi Mashinani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. During our meeting, our committee sitting, we had no quorum, sorry.
Chairperson, do you have a response from the executive committee member? Do you have a response, yes or no? You requested the chair on Wednesday last week directed that the committee and the executive committee member compiles a report on or before Friday last week, so that then today you ought not to have set. I didn't see any request by the Committee on Gender to sit on Thursday, neither on Friday, nor on Saturday, not at all on Sunday, because we didn't expect you to give an excuse as to why you could not meet today. The Speaker directed so.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Did you meet?
The response was the response of information regarding the sports development program League Mashinani. I received it very late, 2:30, and my committee did not sit
When?
for today.
So was the executive committee member communicated to when I made directions on Wednesday last week at 2:30? Clerk?
No.
Clerk, I need to know, so that I know whether I'm on my own or we communicate what we say. We'll come back to that statement, Honorable Muthika. Honorable Chairperson, Committee on Water Sanitation, to respond to statement number 35 of 23 as requested by Member for Water and Zoo Ward regarding the question of Kaduma Water Project. Chairperson, you are ready? On Kaduma?
Honorable Speaker, we are not ready on that, and also the Honorable Member is not present. So we would wish probably we deliver that next week, early next week.
So the request of the statement may not be an issue. We made directions that when the statement is ready, it should be laid. So it is whether it is ready or not.
We have responses from the ECM, but the committee has not gone through the response, so we have not adopted.
How much time do you require to do so?
We want to present this one on Monday afternoon.
Chairperson, Monday will be very tricky. Next week is going to be a very tricky week. The state of account address and our businesses, so we may not get a lot of time for that.
I think that would have been the best time for us.
Any business that is pending must be concluded within.
Then we can do it on Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yes.
Fair enough. Chairperson Committee on Health Services to respond to statement is to get to Member for Water and Zoo Ward regarding operations of Makoni County Fire Hospital. You are ready?
I am aware the ECM had requested for extension. The 30 days you'd given were ending on Friday last week, and I hear they've written a letter requesting for extension of 14 more days.
Leader of the majority, leader of the government business, the assembly convened there on a general oversight sitting. The executive committee member seated in this chamber committed that within 30 days he will lay a report to this house on how he will resolve the issues that were raised and issuing the health department. That notwithstanding, the committee was given 30 days to deal with the matter, and still the executive committee member is requesting for more time outside that period. Your take?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, unless I get to know what is happening, I was also here present, Mr. Speaker, during the general oversight. And Mr. Speaker, I also may want to get to know what happened, because as I'm seated here, I am not even aware why this is being extended, Mr. Speaker. So just like the chairman of health has reported, Mr. Speaker, we cannot confirm that until we get from the horse's mouth, Mr. Speaker.
What I'm trying to say, if the Committee on Health is struggling to get an information, how will an ordinary nurse get that support it requires? Honorable Mbalu is gifted with sanctions, including removal, disciplinary, cut of budget, recommending transfer, and a junior officer in that department, including patients, have no moral authority to question the minister and the department. You get my point? So it means if Honorable Mbalu is struggling, as powerful as he is under Article 195, what happens to our residents who are such? So Honorable Mbalu is being told, wait, come next time. In many words, more time. It means that the more time is a practice elsewhere. And he's here desperate. He can't complain. So that's the problem. So the issues that were raised here by Honorable Mulwa, Honorable Tivo, Honorable Mutindi, Honorable cases in the hospital, in many words, is justifying that the complaints that was and the noise that was is true about delayed services, referral issues, and ABCD, if then corresponding and working with a committee to give a response is not working. In many words, that is what one is doing to him or herself. I'm afraid. Member for Mulale Mali.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think it is very clear that doesn't require rocket science. to understand, to confirm what exactly you are saying is the truth. Because the head of the department, the boss docket, was here. He promised the House that in 30 days there would be a response. Now the committee is struggling. You know, sometimes we might see whether the committee is an incompetent organ of the assembly, which is not the case. Some frustrations from the other arm of the government might be the key problem to responses with this Honorable House, Honorable Speaker. And that's a clear evidence. And that confirms why what has been tabled here by the Honorable Maneno could be truth. There is frustration in the department. And then we need to bite as an assembly. And my advice to the committee, let's not just accept any letter that is forwarded to you by the ECM. They must prove to the committee why is it that they have not responded. Not just to respond to request for extra time. They must be firm enough as a committee before they accept that letter. Because also we must respect the will of the people. We are here because of the people meant, because of the Constitution 2010 that gave birth to devolution and count assemblies. Therefore, with respect to that Constitution, that 20 Constitution, and to be precise, that Article 195 of that Constitution, the committee must take charge and ensure that those ECMs don't play with this Honorable House. The reflection of the committee is the reaction of the committee is the reflection of the entire House, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, just before we push everything to the majority leader, the business head of the business, as committee, we also need to take responsibility and ensure that there is no joke by those heading the department. And if someone is not capable, if someone has no capacity, we might be forced to deal with that person. We have the powers as an assembly, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, the mandate of the committee now, they must take it serious. Not everything majority leader will talk to the governor. The governor gave us the authority. If someone is not working, we deal with that person. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That was on the CCM member appeared on 25th of October. So the 25th of November was the last day. So 25, the 30 days have expired. You know, that was not just an ordinary commitment. You commit before the assembly, you commit in presence of your chief officers, you commit in the presence of all your directors and heads of department. You meet all those people, none could remind another. That we committed in Bunge, and I think the day is falling short tomorrow. And Honorable Mbalu, you have a request for how many more days?
The letter I saw is requesting for 14 days. And Mr. Speaker, I know this House is procedural. And if they did not say anything, we would really blame them for not saying something. But somebody has requested for extension because the information is trying to seek is trying to bring a comprehensive. I would really request you, Mr. Speaker, as the chair of this House, to allow the 14 days and maybe give them that benefit of doubt. Because Honorable for Mulala is talking like we should slaughter somebody here. I mean, this is a procedure. When somebody tells you, please, I need 14 days, why would you drag him by neck and say, I mean, it's like him, he would wish us to do that. We are more procedural. When somebody writes a letter, wouldn't it be fair that it is brought to the Speaker and put as it is? Well, how else would you expect the chair to do? To go out of procedures?
Address the chair.
Mr. Speaker, I'm surprised that he's trying to put a different method of working, because when the ECM has said, he didn't keep quiet. This letter was written on 27th and it has just arrived. But I agree. I do not agree with what they did. And I called them and I put my point clear. But Mr. Speaker, having gone that far, wouldn't we be fair if we give them that benefit of doubt so that now we can see, because it expired, the 30 days, there are many things which may be happening, and when somebody just requests for 14 days, it would be fair for us also to give them that chance and see whether really they have failed us before actually throwing everything out and condemning them. I don't need information.
Go ahead, member of Mlale Mali.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you. I want to inform the House, and I have no grant with anybody. Otherwise, I'm advising. As a seasoned member, Mr. Speaker, some people must take our advice. Mr. Speaker, we invited the ECM to respond to the entire House because he was not in position to give responses in the due time. A statement was read, a request was made, but the committee was not in position to give a response. That's why the ECM and the entire team had to come to give the response directly in the House, Honorable Speaker. That shows the delay of time since when the question was put. He came in person, the ECM, the CEO, the directors. They promised another 30 days. That is another delay. Now 27, 2 days past the 30 days is when the ECM is sending a letter for request for an extra time, Honorable Speaker. We are not blaming the committee, but we are in the same procedure that members are claiming they are procedural. We want to see responses, correspondence. The committee writing to the ECM, dictating or instructing or giving more information that we need a response within the due time. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, it comes a time when the truth has to be told. The health docket has problems. The health docket has problems. We are facing challenges. The governor has done his part. We have medicine in the hospitals. But the human resource, the management part, we are facing challenges. Honorable Speaker, there is a time when one Kibwana Jr. was the ECM, the CEO of the docket, and everything was running smoothly. Now the ECM claimed here in front of this House that we have a lot of work which requires 2 CEOs. In the last 10 years, we had 1 CEO in the docket. And we saw with the first ECM in charge of docket, when Andrew Mulwa was there, the universal health care, which was working very well to our people. Those are some of the achievements that we must mention all through. And if something is not doing well, as a government, we cannot defend everything. We will talk the truth that it is. The health docket has challenges. I am saying this, Honorable Speaker, because I have some facilities. Mwanyani Model Health Care Center, Honorable Speaker, we should have 8 member staffs. 3, 4 of them are on leave at the same time. One on maternity leave, one on study leave, another one on relief. And you can imagine another, just the next hospital, Matiko, the dispensary, which to be maybe providing services for those people, the nurse also is on leave. Another one in Masangombe. The Speaker, in one ward, we have nearly half of the staffs on leave. That, how can you talk about that one? Isn't that managerial problem? Because our people are suffering. We are not talking because we need to. Kwakakulu dispensary has 3 months. It has been closed down. People are getting services in a distant way in Mali. That is problem created by the department, by the failure of the department. We must say it right here. If someone is not competent enough, we will tell them. If someone is competent enough, we will say it. Like when you question the docket of transport and infrastructure, you get response on WhatsApp. Immediately, action is taken. Like in Emali, we in the last 1 week, Emali was like a leg because of the flood of the rains. But the department responded immediately. We rescued. In fact, we are pumping water from house using machines. And the department responded. When some departments are working, we will appreciate. When others are not working, we will say it, Honorable Speaker. We cannot just sit here and let our people suffer. The disappointment in the current level 5 hospital is too much. And it was brought here. Now, 30 days, another 30 days, we keep on waiting. We will not debate what is not true. We will not depend in competence. We will speak it out. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, in the interest of time, Honorable Mbalo will give an opportunity, but you've raised an issue on procedure. Where procedure is flexible, fine. But now, if I was to follow the procedure, we would have done what Senate does. If a governor is asked to appear before Senate committee and must send documents 14 days before that time. Any paper that is sent to Senate after that date is not admissible. And whether it makes sense or not, it becomes another ordinary paper. 2, you don't appear on the date that you've been requested or file information, then you face sanctions in the standing orders, and then you are charged, you are fined immediately, forthwith. Same as the National Assembly. If procedure was to follow, then the honorable thing that we would have done is to table a report or give a response stating things as they are. That you are not able to move, this is the position, and then leave it at that. If it was to follow the procedure. So you may not use the word procedure. You can only persuade, like Honorable Martina, who said that she has been away and she begs to be given more time as a vice chair to deal with the matter, however, outside the time. And she was not able to defend. She admitted failure on and delay on her side. So in this case, it may not, I'm afraid it may not work to defend. The journey on this statement, the issues being raised, they were so raw. And unless we spend so much time for no reason or for drama, that matter ought to have been closed, not within 30 days, but even 15 days to demonstrate that something has happened. We barely spent 3 to 4 hours at that thing, and I chaired that meeting, and I can tell you, it's not in good taste. It doesn't speak honor for this house. Instead of proceeding with the debate, you gave an opportunity to the ECM, very ample environment, clarifications, admitted many. I don't think a department would not be in a position to give her a strategy and an action plan within 30 days and present a response. I may not really bother and care which side one supports, but there are basic things that as an assembly we must stand up. We speak about youth, marginalized. If it is a contractor who was not paid, we say you can consider after recess. You know, when you are discussing healthcare, 14 days. Do you know what that Honorable Mbalu means? We have, up to today, up to this week, next week is state of count address. When you allow the governor to address the county, when you have unresolved issues, so don't you think you should first address that problem? Because the citizens will say, we didn't think the Excellence addressed us. We was expecting that he's going to address us on matters affecting the hospital. It's a setup. It's not a good one. What is it that we're addressing if you have not resolved the basics? And I will tell you, leader of the majority, that is putting the cart before the horse. I will give you an opportunity. Yes, the leader of the big government business, and why I'm saying we must conclude this statement, I do not know how you're going to have a state of count address on what has been achieved and what is to be done when one is stepping on the same floor where a matter that is thorny has not been resolved. How do you address the county when the leagues have not been resolved? That means Honorable Muthiga will be here just to be counted physically, but our spirit will be out because may not question the statement by the governor, but the governor should be informed on the resolutions of the House. Honorable members, we must do things differently.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yes, I agree with what you are saying. I also listened to the Honorable Chair, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I also agree with the member for Mulala Emali that we have challenges in the health docket. Mr. Speaker, facts be facts. And we are seeing how His Excellency is trying to address this, including even hire of an extra chief officer and the CEO of level 5, Mr. Speaker. That's something that is happening, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, to me, the 14 days request will mean that we'll come here in February. That means the statement will, because we are going for recess on the 6th, the day that His Excellency will be giving the county address here. So therefore, 14 days lies after that. So I mean, how will it, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, with your wisdom, it may not necessarily be 14 days. How, in fact, Mr. Speaker, so that they burn the midnight oil. This assembly has powers, Mr. Speaker, to say that, okay, fine, because of ABCD, Mr. Speaker, we give you maximum 3 or 4 days, Mr. Speaker. And then failure to that, then consequences will follow, which could be dire, Mr. Speaker. And this assembly will support any consequences that will come thereafter, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, I would make a prayer that it is considered not 14 days, but days that will come before the day that is actually giving the county address, Mr. Speaker. 3 days, perhaps, 4 days, perhaps, Mr. Speaker. Let them now burn that midnight oil to get that information that he had not gotten within 30 days. Mr. Speaker, how possible it will be, they will work it out. That is my opinion. I thank you.
Honorable Leader of the Majority, I had just notified Honorable Kisungi, Chairperson Committee on Water, that it may not be possible to push forward any business to next week. And therefore, your request for 3 days, that means Tuesday, Wednesday, and Monday next week. It's not practical, it can't work, our order paper is full. So it is either we adjust our programs, but we can extend our sitting to consider that, because I think it is very special. The governor can address, and then we extend the sitting, we'll consider on Thursday. But in between, things are thick. So tell me how to place the 14 days on the bombard.
Mr. Speaker, I acknowledge it is within your powers. You can, not necessarily the 14 days, you can bring it down even to just 5 days. Monday next week, we give them a deadline that they give us that.
Next week is overruled. Honorable Kisungi could not get an opportunity, much had he had.
You can push it even to the day after tomorrow, because, Mr. Speaker, that's a ruling you'll be making. I mean, that is the extension. If somebody asks you for 14 days and is given 2 days, that's the extension. And they'll have to work within that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Honorable members, we are not dealing with roads. We are not dealing with mangoes. We are not dealing with sports. We are not dealing with trade. We are not dealing with water. We are dealing the basis of establishment of a county government, which is the health and the priority to our people. If one becomes a CEC member, CEO for health, then you should know that you are different from the rest. Article 43 on rights is very clear on that particular matter. We extended time. It was not satisfactory. The matter was carried from the Committee on Health, to Committee on General Oversight. All members of the County Assembly were seated there. We extended the invitation. 2 CECM members were seated there. CEO, medical superintendent, directors, they were seated there. The commitment was 30 days, which was way beyond reasonable time to sit down and resolve a problem that is affecting an hospital, handling people. And therefore, your request for more time, Honorable Mbalu, is in violation of Article 43, falls outside the commitment of the CECM member on that particular day, and therefore not admissible. And the reasonable thing that you can do is tomorrow at 2:30, you will proceed and give us a response, as was committed by the executive committee member. We will deal with what you will present that time. If the report says you have not received a correspondence from the ECM tomorrow at 9:30, then the Assembly will address it under the provisions of Standing Orders, County Governments Act order. You know, we are dealing with health. You don't reschedule theater. It is like rescheduling maternity. When a baby is coming, it's coming. You are not the chairperson committee on roads. I mean, you can ask a contractor to go and come after Christmas. Even on a Christmas day, babies will be born. People will be sick. They will be taking medicine. It doesn't matter whether we are addressing here or not. People are sick. So if one cannot get an answer by tomorrow at 9:30 when you are sitting, there is none. And if you will not get it, just give us the response. Either you have the response, it is here, or you don't have it, then we will know that no one is able to provide that response. We will then pick this constitution and read the requisite sections of the law. I said 9:30 or 2:30? Which are you comfortable with? If you are dealing with if you are dealing with sickness, Kikumbuli is watching, mothers are watching. Honorable Majority Leader is not persuaded, and therefore 9:30. The statement is due. We are not doing an extension. It is you who is pleading to give us a response tomorrow. And there is no worry. If there is nothing, you will come and say there is nothing. Then we will deal with it. We will deal with it, that non-compliance. We will deal with it. Yes. We will just read these books and they will tell us where to go. And after that, we will meet and greet. It's not about us. It's not about you, Chair. It's about standing orders and people Makweni. There are books in between you and the ECM. So let the book talk. After that, you meet and greet. Clerk, that to be done immediately. A copy of that letter, an advance copy to go to His Excellency the Governor, the County Secretary, Executive Committee member, and the Chief Officer. Otherwise, standing orders will help us, and the Constitution Article 195 and the powers and the privilege and the obligations of summoning. There are so many others that follow. Chairperson, Committee on Health Services, to respond to statement number 25 requested member from Lale Mali Ward on Health Facility Management Committees.
Mbone, the level 5 and Mulala. The letter is talking of the three statements.
Honorable Balu, fine, Chair. You have admitted you have people who are gazetted who should not be gazetted. So you are not doing research, you are not doing report. It's degazetting and gazetting. Even the president gazettes people. At night you are chairperson, tomorrow you are not there. Is it not the same gazette notice? So honestly, why do you require more than 30 days to allow someone who is illegally in office to continue being there after admitting? The moment the mistake was noticed, there would have been an evidence showing that they have been stopped. Nevertheless, member from Lale Mali, requester.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, assuming we go by the 14 days requested, it means we will keep the illegal committees up to next year, because on 6 we will not be able to deliberate on the same. Why am I saying this? Because the ECM admitted that there was wrong gazettements, as you have just said, of the committees. And I just raised one example because the time was not on our side. And he admitted in the floor of the House will change. So, Speaker, I had facts with me, like that facility, the Kokakulu dispensary, where the community has elected a chair of the committee who is a medic, a professional or clinical officer to head. And the department has changed. It plugged the name of a professional in that field who was to chair that committee and replaced with a retired teacher. You can now look the comparison. The Speaker, going by the request, then we will be doing a lot of disadvantage to our people in this county. Therefore, let the chair respond tomorrow, as you have just directed on the other statement, so that at least from there we will be able to act as an assembly accordingly. So I thought the response was ready, and also action will be taken. We saw the Gazette notes by the national government, whereby the finance bill was to charge some people, ID was to be charged, gazettement was ID to be charged 2,000 for replacement. Well, out of the public outcry, that was reversed. Another Gazette notice after 1 week, it came. Those charges which has been closed by the Gazette notice were struck, because the people had complained. There is no much other than incompetence in the department. We might be forced, maybe after tomorrow, to bring an impeachment motion to some of them. We are used to that. In 2013-17, we did it and it worked. And if that's the way they need, so that can push the government, then, Honorable Speaker, we are ready. We are ready. When someone is not serving, is not helping the government to discharge his mandate, then we have no option. We will just keep him aside, our replacement will be done, and the work will be done. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chairperson, together with Mboni, Mulale Mali, then do as required. Fair enough. Next order. There was Chairperson Committee on Culture, Gender, Youth, Disability and Social Services. You are picking up your information. What was I asking? Now, honorable members, Honorable Mudhike, the directions were given on 22nd of November. That was on Wednesday last week. The letter went out the same day. And the executive committee member, together with the committee, was to conclude this matter over the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so that today they need not to sit. I use that word, but to present a response. There's a letter dated 27th today in the morning, which was received at 10. Was it indicating that, noting that it was directed that we submit the response on League Mashinani by today, Monday, 27th at 9 a.m. We are still working on documents and hereby commit to provide the information by noon. So, Chairperson, you have a response from the ECM?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. I have the response, but what I kindly request you is to give us more time so that we can go through with my committee, because I received the response at 2:30.
We will not wait for you. We will move on.
Kindly, can you advise me what to do? Because I don't know what to do.
We want a response today at 2:30. I was directed. So if Wazir has responded, you are going to read out that response as it is. We will determine whether we will allow you to continue dealing with that statement or direct it to any other relevant committee that can get the matter sorted between today and tomorrow. And the ECM.
Okay, let's.
Do you have a response from the Waziri? There's a response. Have you availed a copy to the requester of the statement?
No.
So the request of the statement, do you have a copy of the response when it was presented by Waziri by noon?
No.
So whose responsibility is it to ensure that you get a copy? The requester gets a copy? Because I said it, when Waziri's respond, share a copy of the response with the request of the statement so that by the time you meet, the work is easier. You, your committee clerk, and the clerk. Clerk, you want to defend yourself? Yes, but when it arrived, Honorable Mudhike ought to have got a copy to either agree with the response or disagree. We will not extend the time for the committee and for the ECM. You know, the moment you start getting my mood, you will adjust and we will move. Because I will not bend the standing orders.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I kindly request you, because I received it at 2:30 and the plenary was sitting at 2:30, what could I do? Advise me, please.
We were expecting it at 9, it was not represented. The ECM said we would present it at noon, it came at 2. Are we in a position to extend this to tomorrow? Absolutely no. And therefore, I will urge that Honorable Elizabeth Muthike to get a copy of that response, and the subsequent order paper, we will deal with that matter.
Okay.
If we find it is not satisfactory, we will find a way of getting an answer. Yes.
Okay.
Through ABC, through liaison, through even budget committee, can follow up why the budget appropriated for league was not implemented. We will bypass. So as chair liaison and then chair selection, you will be too late to meet. We will find ways of looking for a committee that is active to deal with the matter. Every committee is relevant.
Mr. Speaker, sir, kindly, I kindly request you to take action on this matter because the department is failing us. So, we keep on calling them, we keep on, and we become tired of them. If they are not active according to what Honorable Mulala said, if they are not competitors or they are not competitive, how can the governor look for other CEOs? Because they are disturbing us. They are giving us headache. We are not here to keep on asking them. They know their responsibilities and their mandate. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, can you please take action or the whole house? Because now you may end up seeing I'm not the one, my committee is not taking action, but the department is the one who is failing us. And we have no other objection to do. Or you make us not to come to the committee because we are fearing you.
Conclude. Honorable Josephine, you're done. Honorable Martina. I think our voice system is not working. Whoever is handling that should be able to deal with that. They try which one? Go ahead, Honorable Martina.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand in defense of my chair. Mr. Speaker, as my chair has put it in this house, we've been following with the ECM, and especially since last night, our committee clerk, we have a WhatsApp group whereby we are in that forum with the ECM and his CEO, and our committee clerk raised the issue yesterday. It was around 8 p.m., whereby he requested the ECM about the same statement, and the response was that the report was not ready. We've been following, Mr. Speaker, sir, and it has come to a time whereby the committee is not responsible for someone's laziness. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I am praying that you don't roast my chair. Thank you.
So who should? Who should be roasted? Although I did not roast anyone, but who should?
You are not roasting anybody, but Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm saying that the ECM and his team should be responsible for their laziness. Mr. Speaker, sir, we can't be dealing with, in quotes, mwenende, and I quote, and the many problems we are having on ground, in our wards, and then also come here to answer other people's mess. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I kindly urge the leader of the government business to take on that matter. Thank you.
I've transferred the burden to the owner. So, Josephine, the Unfortunately, the booklet that was allowing moving of business to the following day, it disappeared. I don't have it. So what you will do, I now have this one. It is refusing to extend time, this booklet. What we'll do is these standing orders. You will have to give this response as submitted by Waziri. Forget about the annexes. And you read it out, the 4-5 questions. And there's parts where it's referring, there are annexes. There are 2 or 3 where they are stating that this is the answer. And the answer is 1 or 2 sentences. After that, Honorable Muthike then will tell us whether she will require to peruse this and perhaps see what we can deal with. As you prepare for that, we go to majority. Yes. Chairperson, Chairperson, Committee on Devolution and Public Service, to give a response to statement number 36 as requested by member Funzawi Klikalamba Ward regarding Makueni County Public Service Board recruitment. Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to just begin by saying I'm thankful to God. We have had enough rains. Honorable Speaker, Emali last week was flooded all over. Maybe I could not find myself to this Honorable House. We were dealing with the 2 challenges. And a lot happened. In fact, I thank the municipal manager and the ECM charge of transport and infrastructure. They responded swiftly and we were able to assist our traders. Mr. Speaker, I now rise to give a response to statement number 36, 2023, regarding the operation of the Makueni County Public Service Board during the recruitment. Mr. Speaker, in the response is requested by a member for Zawe Kilele Kalamba Ward regarding the operation of the Makueni County Public Service Board during the recruitment is annexed 1, Honorable Speaker. I have...
Take us to the question.
That we are not able to, or the board will not be able to recruit quacks. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
That matter is rested. Member for Molala, you seem to have spent less time. Next is Chairperson. Which is it? Honorable Josephine, you are ready? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. The response on information regarding the sports development program League Mashinani in the county. The breakdown of expenditure of the funds allocated by the county government of Makueni towards sports development in each of the above listed 23 wards for the financial year 2023 to 2024. Breakdown of the organized per ward: Mboni, Kalawa, Annex 1, Kisau Kiteta, Annex 2A. Mboni, Annex 3A.
You may not have to read all that. If there is the annexes, then we will deal with them later. Go to the next.
Okay, thank you. Kibwezi East, Mtitwandei.
No, I mean, if that question has already
been referred.
So just refer to the annex charge. Honorable Mudhige will interrogate.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Go to the next question.
Okay. The guidelines of engagement in the league machinani, including the guidelines on election of ward sports council officials and the teams' participation in the league. The guideline should be as approved by each ward for each sports discipline. Ward, all attachments, wards, all wards annex. 3. The rules regarding governing the league machinani for each ward for each sports discipline. Ward attachment, all annex. The list of ward sports council officials per ward, starting the position of each officials together with the responsibilities attached to each position. Wards, Kalawa and the rest. Kalawa, Mboni and the rest, Annex 2B. The minutes and resolution of each ward sports council on the election of the above stated officials, clearly showing the proposers, the seconder and the votes garnered all well as votes garnered by the other contestants. Wards, Kalawa, Annex. The list of referees identified by each ward sports council to officials the league match for each sports discipline, together with the qualifications of each such referees, sub-counties. Mboni, Annex, referees, Mboni. The duly filed and signed players' registration forms of each team, clearly showing the name, ID, passport, portals, team officials, and their conduct for each participation team. Teams to be categorized per ward, per discipline. Ward, Kalawa, Annex 1. Annex 1. The modalities of paying the referees, including the amount, who to provide the amount, and the minutes and the resolution of the Ward Sports Council, where the such resolutions were made sub-county. Annex of referees. I'm done.
You've done with all questions and answers? Honorable Mudhige, you have a copy? Do you have a copy?
I do not have a copy of the response, but from where I sit, there are questions that have not been answered, especially the one for facilitating away matches. That has not been done.
Right.
There are so many annexures attached to this response, and I would need to peruse and go through the annexures as indicated. But then, even before that, I have issues with the guidelines. Question number 2. The guidelines of engagement in league machinani, including the guidelines on election of ward sports councils and teams participating in the league. Honorable Speaker, the committee, the ECM says the same should have been approved by each ward for each sport discipline. Honorable Speaker, when you give this mandate to the ward sports councils, this means we will not have a uniform way of dealing with the league machinani. You will find that Tulimani is dealing with league machinani in their own way. Boni is doing it their own design. Kasike will do the way they want, because you have given this mandate to formulate guidelines towards sports councils. And Honorable Speaker, you will notice this is where we are having the league machinani being haphazardly managed as it is now. Because if the mandate of formulating these guidelines is vested on the sports councils, if the ECM does not even know what the guidelines of a sports council in Boni involves, or what in a Mali Mulala is being done, it's just getting what was approved by the sports council. What if the sports council decides not to have any guidelines? And in any case, if we have no sports council, how are we going to manage the league machinani in that specific ward? So it tells a lot, and it needs a lot to be done. As much as I will still go through the annexure and see what has been annexed as approved by some of these wards, and the minutes resolving the same, Honorable Speaker. Question 9, which I don't know, the chair has just decided not to answer, or what was the issue, whether participating teams are facilitated with logistical support to enable them attend matches away from their home ground, and if not, how are such teams expected to foot their travel costs while attending such away matches? The response that the ECM gives is the program has no budget for such facilitation. However, discussion with Ward Sports Council, where the ward geographical situation is making travel expensive, teams have been zoned in such a way that there is a minimum travel cost. Honorable Speaker, those of us who understand what happens in this league machinani, you play at home, and then the other time you visit the other team at their playground. Honorable Speaker, these are young people in this county, as young as even 17 or 16 years. Honorable Speaker, when you say we are not going to facilitate these young people to travel away from their places to attend to matches in other far-fetched places, it means that you are troubling the young people of this county. Honorable Speaker, it is difficult. I have attended to several of these matches. I have seen the young people strain. At many occasions, I'm forced to finance some with fare, and it looks very bad because, Honorable Speaker, if we say as a county we are managing a league machinani, yes, the outcome of this should not only focus on the award that these young people are going to get at the end of the league, but how fair has been the process from the beginning of the league towards the end. Honorable Speaker, I had a case where young people who are playing got hurt in the field, and nobody could know how to facilitate such a player to the hospital. And then you say the World Sports Council are serious people following these activities, Honorable Speaker. No member of the Sports Council even called the team manager to know how that certain young person was taken to the hospital, Honorable Speaker. Do we say this is a fair process? You are expecting a person who has been injured on the field to wait for an award at the end of a League Mashinani tournament, Honorable Speaker. We need to have a fair process where the young people of this county, even if it is about talents, it is about exposure, it is about taking them to the next level, we have a fair process of identifying these talents, that you don't get all of them lame during the process, only to be awarded at the end of it, League Mashinani, and whatever you get as an award, Honorable Speaker, cannot treat the injury that you got. Honorable Speaker, it is painful. I have gone through it myself. I have witnessed it on the fields, and it is really troubling me as a person and as a representative of the people of this county. So, Honorable Speaker, as much as I need to go through the annexures and come out with the issues that I need to raise, I think some of the issues that I've noticed that have glaring gaps are, one, the guidelines, and two, the logistical support that needs to be offered to these young people as they play, because it is not about the end result of the award that you get. It is about how fair has been the process to these people. How have you treated these young people? Don't just let them strain, especially now that we have rainy seasons, we are crossing the rivers. You're endangering these young people crossing rivers to go and play away, and there's nothing. They're being facilitated. They're getting nothing out of it. Honorable Speaker, it is not about the end result. It is about the process of a League Mashinani tournament. And that is what I am fighting for. We need to have a fair process where the young people of Kikumbulu South, where the MCA has awarded or has projected 1 million for the young people, they know at the beginning of this league, this is what we are going to do. When we are traveling away from our home ground, this is what we expect as travel cost for our team. These are young people, they are not working, Honorable Speaker. So straining them to the extremes that they have to cry after a game, they have not been facilitated, and then you say, we are building on the capacity and the skill and we are exposing the talents. I have not myself attended any of those League Mashinani games and seen any scout doing what? They're just playing themselves. There's no scout there to be exposed to them. And Honorable Speaker, what makes matters worse, very few sports council members will attend. So Honorable Speaker, we need to rethink about this League Mashinani so that we have a fair process and that members do not fund an exercise that is not going to help any of the young people of Makueni. But Honorable Speaker, you will allow me to come back tomorrow and raise supplementary questions after I've gone through the annexures. And with your permission, Honorable Speaker, because this is a matter touching on several wards, I would expect that these annexures will also be scanned and shared with members so that also members will be able to share areas of concern in their wards. Thank you.
Honorable Muthika, you've referred to the process. If my memory serves me right, when we were dealing with this same matter a year ago, one of the recommendations was that within a particular time, the executive committee member to develop guidelines to govern that process of the sports. Has that been provided? What is the response in that letter? Guidelines to be prepared by the CCM member, not by Sports Council, saying that if in Ward A, B, C, D, this is what is to be done. The responsibility of Sports Council are these, youth officer are these laws are applicable, KFF laws are applicable, these disputes will be resolved this way. We ask for something like that. Is it in that answer? And I want to be reminded, was there such a recommendation after long fighting?
Honorable Speaker, when the matter came last time, when the member from Bitini raised the matter, you said the Committee on Gender should sit with the ECM and come up with guidelines on how to manage the League Mashinani tournament, the Super Cup, and the Chisa Games. And Honorable Speaker, this has not been the case. What they are saying today is that guidelines are formulated by the ward sports councils.
So if the guidelines in Tulimani are applicable within Tulimani. It means they can vary from those of Emali, Zawikilili Kalamba.
That's the implication here.
That is the point.
Yes.
So then how do they compete at another level if the standards are different?
That's my question, Honorable Speaker. And that is where I find it very funny and weird that we have ward sports councils formulating the guidelines, which may be different from all wards. So we will not meet at any point.
And Honorable Kalunda indicated that your ward is at what level? Semi-finals or finals? Now at? Last weekend you played?
Last weekend we played quarters and semis. Now we are at finals.
I wish to inform you, unless I was misled, that someone texted me from a particular place saying that it comes from the ward I'm born, and that they are requesting the statement that was raised, that I ask on the floor when the elections for the Sport Council for Nzawi Kilili Kalamba will take place, so that they can start.
As we did a month
ago. No, get the satire.
Yeah.
You are on semi-finals. There are citizens elsewhere asking to be helped so that the youth officer can go and establish the Sports Council so that they can start off.
That is the...
Now, then how will Kikumbulu North
South
compete? Kikumbulu South compete because in a week's time they will be done. And in a week's time, another ward has not done. So are they in the same competition? Because they are expected at some point to compete to this.
They will compete at the sub-county.
Now, then it means that Kibwezi West sub-county is likely to finish earlier.
Yes.
When Makueni is at the start.
Yes.
So, and you're a fan of football.
A big one.
When leagues are happening.
Like now Arsenal is on top.
When leagues are happening, the start time is almost around the same time. Until when you will get to a certain finalization on a certain weekend, your pools, then you'll get number ones who will come to whatever competition.
Yes.
There's a uniformity.
Yes.
And the sport is about competition, who has won here, who has won there. I don't know. I just want to put that across, although I'm not the area MCA representative, but someone asked me to ask, and I told them that I don't ask. There's someone asking at the moment. The asker is around. A member of Honorable Elizabeth, yes? Unless you are aware, you're aware of that. How did you know? You don't come from there.
Honorable Speaker, I am aware. It is the case in Nzawi Kilili, it's the case in Mavindini, and it's also a case in Muvauki Kumeni.
Not started?
Yes, they have not started. Their ward sports councils have not yet been selected. And that is why I want to check this annex and see if there's a provision and they are provided a list for those specific wards.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't think I have a problem in Zakeka. That's why I'm very silent. I'm okay. I'm doing my own things my own way. Thank you. I'm okay. And I hear you.
And therefore, then that confirms, honorable members, Zakika is using different parameters from Kikumbulu South. And Zakika is party to Makueni sub-county. Kikumbulu South is in Kibwezi West. The product of Kibwezi West and Makueni sub-county are expected to have gone through the same standards and converge with the rest of at headquarters. So then it means there's the standards and harmonization for purposes of computing at county is what is lacking. Now, the guidelines by Honorable Muthika are very simple to say what to be done by what time and how groupings they will. If you are to say common sense dictates, Makueni sub-county was to begin now, Makueni sub-county, makes sense. But
or else the House, because I am in concurrence with what Honorable Mudhika is saying. There must be standard measure of the game. It is ligi mashinani in the entire county. It is not in certain regions. Why am I saying this, Honorable Speaker? Last week, a team by the name Kiwani FC requested me to offer them a ball so that they can start playing because they don't have a ball. The Speaker, it is League Mashinani because we want to nurture talent. We want to capture and support talent. We want to empower our youths, but it has turned to a torture, not nurture. But actually, I'm saying torture because you can imagine someone moving, or a young one, under 18, who is interested in the league, like Honorable Kalunda, who is a fan of football, who wants to play 8 kilometers or 10 kilometers. And that person, that young kid, is meant to travel at this rain season to such place in that scenario. And that person is not provided with facilitation to... The point is, Honorable Speaker, we need it structured. We need it to be uniform, to cross-cut across all counties, so that it can be fair. Because, fair enough. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Kaskeo, 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Still on that note of League Mashinani, is there a direction which you can give, Mr. Speaker, so that all the wards can get involved in contributions and contribute the same amount? If it is 1 million for each ward. Thank you.
Fair enough. I will give you an opportunity. I will give you an opportunity. Hold on. Honorable Kalunda.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
15 seconds.
I wished to inform that the League Mashinani is a ward-based project which does not come from the county. County as Super Cup, where people select members of the team from the ward. But the ward is an independent thing, and which we could have asked, the same way Honorable Kavai has asked, that if it is possible, we can have a uniformity across the wards. Out of the 30 wards, we have a minimum amount which is going to League Mashinani, at least for county wards to compete. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Fair enough. That asks a question. Does it mean that a borehole in Gikumbulu South is drilled differently from a borehole in Kaskeo, even when Kalawa has a dam? And how will Auditor General will look at the performance of a program and what is measurable? But that's not the point. You will answer tomorrow if you are available, and I know you'll be here. Zakika.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when I said I'm comfortable with what is happening in Zakika, Mr. Speaker, I have, in the budget, I have 1 million. And Mr. Speaker, through experience, I've learned with a lot of amazement that actually what happened with the budgets that were given in the previous years, Mr. Speaker, the players were not able to be given what they're supposed to be given once they play. So, Mr. Speaker, I sat down with the council, I sat down with the officers, and we agreed on the games which are going to be played. One, basketball, football, athletics, and all that. And we gave a budget for that. So, Speaker, if we had something uniform, maybe here in Wote they have about 2.5 million. I don't know what they're going to do with their money. So we have agreed with my people. We don't need maybe those standards. And if they have to be, then they should actually conform with my budget. Because I don't want my people to go playing and at the end of the game, they have nothing. I don't want somebody to get hurt within the game and there's nothing. Because that has been the practice. So, Mr. Speaker, because we have done our budget, we are okay. If Kikumbulu North or South or whatever ward is playing football, then let them come together with Zakika to see what they can do. If they have athletics, I have no problem with standards. If they have football or netball, whatever it is, let them actually put the standards and then we move on. But my budget will not be changed by anybody. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, from where I sit, I have no issue with budgets as formulated by wards. Mine was on the guidelines and the structure and the process of this League Mashinani. Because even when we have the budgets, even if it is $1 million, 2.5 million, you know, this is a ward project. We only need to have a structure and guidelines on how it is going to be managed so that we do not torture the young people of this county, Honorable Speaker.
Fair enough. I hear what you're saying is what Honorable Member from Zakika is addressing. he has physically gone to administer the games so that these people may not miss out in the reward or they are not mismanaged. Honorable Muthike is complaining about others who did not leave their oversight to ensure that things are done. So you are addressing the same issue. Honorable members, there was a resolution and a report on the same, on that particular matter, to be provided tomorrow. Honorable Muthike, you're going to peruse the document as they are and then present a response tomorrow as to what extent you are satisfied with those standards tomorrow. The rest of the communication is as it has been given. Honorable members, I urge that we commit ourselves to attendance for this week and next week. It's very critical and important before we go for recess that we clear this business. And perhaps tomorrow or Wednesday, we'll have to take extension of hours so that we clear the business before the state of court address. So that as we go to 2024, every business is cleared. And our time being 17:00 hours, the assembly stands adjourned until Tuesday, 28th of November, year 2023 at 09:30.